enough loud. Okay, I'm Emma, and this is my friend Sierra, and we are so excited you could be here with us tonight. If this is your first time here, we want to just welcome you, and we're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to start off with some games and then continue our sermon on how to friend, learn how God is working in our friendships in our life, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Sierra is going to tell us a little bit about an event coming up.
Yes, so our next big thing we have is Fall Escape, October, I don't know the dates. The 26th to the 28th. I cannot express how much y'all should come to Fall Escape. It is by far my favorite thing we do as a student ministry. It's in that point of the year where you start to get tired, so I just love to refocus my mind and look to the Lord and see what He has to offer. And we just want so many people there, so make sure you just invite. And going off of that, we're going to play a quick game really quick. So I need 2 people who have been to 4 people who have been to Fall Escape, 2 girls and 2 guys. So if you've been to Fall Escape, raise your hand.
Any volunteers?
Bree, have you been to Fall Escape? Okay, have you? Will, come up here. Bree, come up here, girl. Anybody else? Who? Oh, Alex? Who else? Who else has been to Fall Escape? Rachel?
The guy you were talking to. He said he'd been.
Anybody else who's been to Fall Escape? Rachel, get up here. Amy, have you been? Okay, then come up here too. Yeah, no, get up here. Okay, so the rules for this game, you're gonna play and or like, so you can't say and or like, and we're gonna ask you questions about Fall Escape. And when we tap you on the shoulder, you're gonna have to immediately hand over the mic to your partner, and they're gonna finish what you were saying, okay? So I'm gonna be over here, Emma's gonna be over there.
You ready?
Okay, so y'all are gonna go first. Yeah, you. Okay. Okay, so your question is, why should everyone come to Fall Escape?
You should come to Fall Escape because it is a super fun time.
It's really fun. There's a lot to do. There's a zombie game we play.
You get to hang out with your friends. There's a lot
of people there. It's just really fun, and you get to
Okay, that was 18 seconds. Good job, guys. Okay, next group.
All right. What is your favorite thing about Fall Escape? Go.
I like the zombie game.
One of my favorite parts of Fall Escape.
I like dodgeball. I don't know. Worship.
I think that the group time.
Did you say like? It's and or like. Do what? Okay, we'll just restart since there was confusion in it. Okay. Favorite part? Go.
I like dodgeball. Volleyball.
One of my favorite parts is the group time, getting to connect.
Football. Zombie game. The swing. The park.
I love spending time with all of my friends and all.
Yep. Yep, she said it.
Okay, they had 15 seconds, so Rachel and Bree are our new winners. Good job. Way to go, girls. Okay, now we're gonna play a game with Tanner and Macias.
All right, Tanner, what will you be playing today?
Today we are playing one word.
All right, one word. So we are going to need
Four groups.
Four groups. We need 4 groups of close people. Do you have Luke? You have someone you're willing to go with? Caden, Luke, a repeat? Sure. Hey, back there.
You two in the back.
You think you're? Come on up.
Okay. All right, we
Anyone
need
from
2
this
more
side?
groups. 2 more groups. In the back. Oh yeah. All right, one more group. One more group of 2.
Lexi. All right. Try.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Good. All right.
All
We
right.
got our 4 teams.
All right, we're gonna go down the line and introduce everybody. All right, just say your name and grade.
I'm Kanan. Freshman.
Freshman.
Cameron, freshman.
Caden, 7th grade.
Luke, 8th grade.
Oh, Sophia, 6th grade. Lexi, 7th grade.
Meadow, 9th grade. Chloe, 9th grade.
All right.
Okay. For this game, 2 teams will be taking turns trying to be the first to cut the mystery word based on one-word clues given by your teammate.
Okay, so basically, you're gonna have one of the friends looking at the screen and one of the friends looking away. You can't look at the screen. So, and then there will be a word that pops up on the screen, and then you have to try to tell your friend what the word is in one word. And then if
In one word. So you give him one word?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So one person go ahead and get down there. Oh no, she gets it. She's
Probably
going to
one of
tell-
the big ones.
there's going to be a word up there, and she's going to explain that to you with one word. Oh, you're switching? Okay. Just pick away. That works. Okay. So people standing from on this side with me, you're going to be using one word to explain to your partner. Okay. All right. Everyone ready?
All right.
We want to start on this end?
Yep,
That
we'll
end?
start on this end.
That end.
All right, so there's gonna be a word that pops up on the screen. So let's say it's giraffe. And then you have to try to describe the word to him in one word. So you can say like zoo, and then you'll get the chance to guess the word. And then if he doesn't get it right, we'll go down the line until somebody gets it right.
You want to listen to the ones before you so you can pick up some extra clues, okay?
Yes, because you can steal the point.
Yeah, points can be stolen.
All right, you guys understand the game?
Everyone ready?
Ready?
All right, we're starting down at that end.
All right, first word.
Rolling.
Roller skating.
Nope. All right, let's go into the next group.
Game.
Monopoly?
No, not Monopoly.
All right, down at this end.
Dice.
Oh. You can't say the word that's on the
That's one
screen.
word you cannot say. Okay. Well, we're going to be moving right along. Okay.
All right, what?
Do not say the word on the screen, okay? Starting down at this end. Next word, please.
Hey, Makias, the second group. All right, so now it's your group's turn. All right.
Tall. Giraffe.
Hey, there we go. 1 point, yeah.
1 point, 1 point.
Round of applause.
All right, moving on. Tall.
Oh.
And you said zoo. And you said zoo.
All right, 1 point to Caden's group.
All right. Oh, remember, do not say the word on the screen.
Cold.
No.
No. Next group.
Frosted Flakes.
Wait.
What's going on?
All right. Next group.
I don't know.
All right. Next word.
Drivable.
Car.
No. Close.
He said school.
Bus.
Man,
Wow,
you're
2
on
points.
Friday.
All right.
2. All right.
Sophia's group.
Back over to Sophia. Do not say
And then
word.
make sure, if you're in the crowd, don't shout out the word either.
Here, if you're listening, get some extra clues. All right. Next word, please.
Eyes.
glasses.
Nope, not glasses.
Planets.
Nope. All right. Coming to the first group.
We've heard eyes and solar system.
Planets.
Three, two.
Earth.
Earth. Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Let's try to keep this popping.
Stars.
Sun.
No, not so. 5, 4, 3.
Look.
Dang, this is hard.
Telescope.
Hey, there we go. Telescope.
That one came out of nowhere. All right, we got 2-1.
2 and 1. All right. Starting at the fourth group.
Let's see. Let's get the next word.
Magnify.
Explain that.
Brandon.
Cross country? What?
All right. First group.
I feel like there might be something we don't know about there. Let's go back to that end.
Keys.
Door.
Good guess.
Think of the first word they said, all right? Play. He said keys.
You got to be paying attention.
Keys. Play. Play. Piano.
Wow, 3 points. All right. All right. Running away with it.
Drill?
Drill, good guess.
Massacre.
Boston.
No. All right. First group for the steal.
Chainsaw.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Did you say a clue?
I didn't say one, but he still got it.
Did you look at the screen?
No, I heard Tool and Massacre.
Did you give it to I guess you got it, yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, I think we're starting at the first group now. Yeah, because we started with the... Okay, and you guys are starting this one. Yeah, be loud when you say your clue.
All right, let's see it.
Internet.
Computer.
Ooh, good guess. All right.
Connect.
Wi-Fi.
Wow! 4 points. All right. You guys are starting this one. Car.
Drive.
Close.
Seatbelt.
No.
What's happening today? I'm confused.
All right, moving on. All right, next word. How many more do we have? 5 more? 4 more?
Okay, anyone can still take this.
All right, redemption. Don't say the word.
Sophia.
Do not say word.
Beach.
Sand.
All right, it was beach.
Building.
I'm sorry.
Building.
Sandcastle.
Nice. All right. So we got 1, 4, 1, and 1. All right. You guys starting off this one.
Let's see it.
Book. Hunger Games. No.
All right, make sure you're not talking in between.
Word.
Dictionary.
These are interesting choices for clues. I'm gonna be honest.
All right.
Church. Bible.
Nice. 5 points.
I gave these also
All right. All right. These are our winners. Round of applause for King. All right, and you guys will be getting half off at Fall Escape. All right. Now on to Rob.
All right, everybody. We've done that game before. I don't know why we were struggling so much on this particular time. Because we put it on a Sunday morning, and it's like boom, 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 boom. But for whatever reason, we are struggling on that thing. So, hey, just a couple of things. Make sure everybody is aware, all right? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I know mid-school stuff has sports. I know there's some high school stuff going on. But we need everybody to be aware. There was something happened today, and I don't know if you guys even heard it in your schools, but the tornado siren started going off today. I am really hoping that you guys said, oh, it's definitely not the first Wednesday, because if this was your invites to Exodus XL, we are failing at it. So I want to make sure everybody knows next Wednesday, that everybody knows what's going on. All right? Next Wednesday is Exodus XL. All right? Exodus XL next week. We're going to have some older students kind of give you guys a challenge later on. But just so everybody's clear, Will, if you'll put up those slides for us. So next week, everybody, all of you guys need to invite all of your friends. Like everybody you know needs to be a part of Exodus XL next week. We are kicking off a new series. So remember, the first Wednesday of each month is when we do XL Nights. Next week is our whole series kind of has a Western theme to it. So we are kicking off with our Western Wednesday, free Chick-fil-A. We're going to just strongly encourage you. We are going to give out prizes for the best Western costumes, all right? We will give out prizes for the most authentic. I knew there was a word in there somewhere. Authentic one, but also for the funniest one. So if you want to come up, just dress up like some ridiculous cowboy or cowgirl or whatever you got, go for it. So that's just a little, some little clue right there, but you can come in full gear and everything. And so have fun with this, guys. I'm telling you, you don't want to be like, I don't know if anybody else is going to do it or not, because I promise you everybody's going to be doing it. Somebody was like, so, you're not going to have a real mechanical bull there, are you? Yes, we're not saying that and just be like, just joking, go jump on Austin's back. It's going to be like a full-on mechanical bull either right here or wherever we can fit it, and we're going to just be doing tournaments all throughout the night. XL means bigger, crazier versions of Exodus, so the games are going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts, and free Chick-fil-A, food, prizes, games. Guys, don't miss this opportunity to invite your friends, because I love all of you guys, but this isn't even like half of our normal Sunday morning group. We need to have everybody. So mid-school especially, you all need to be reaching out, inviting, calling your friends, tell your parents. We got to pick up 5 people before Exodus this Wednesday. So get them all here. Let's fill this place up for an awesome, awesome time next Wednesday. So that's your big thing. We still have one more Sunday for our Connect 4. So if you've been a part of that, keep doing those devotionals. Check out all that stuff. High school, you do have a corn maze opportunity. An opportunity for a corn maze if you want. We will be going to the corn maze on October 22nd. Thank you. October 22nd. High school, make sure you're following us on Instagram for all that great information. So October 22nd, that's going to be going on. Guys, lots of good stuff. Good stuff. You already, we talked about Fall Escape already. So don't miss out. Next Wednesday, though, that's your focus right now, all right? Next Wednesday. If you're on a football team, you should be inviting your whole football team. If you're in band, you should be inviting the whole band. If you're on a basketball team, invite the whole basketball team. If you're on soccer, invite them all. I don't care what you do. Invite everybody. Be a part. Tell your friends. Let's get here, okay? Now, the past couple weeks, we took last Wednesday off. I ended up not feeling well and got sick and stayed home. And we kind of did some other different stuff that the church was doing. So if you joined us, thank you. If you missed out, sorry. But we're going to wrap up our series on how to friend. And so this will be our final night. The past few weeks, just a really quick recap. The past couple weeks, we've just been talking about how friendships matter and why friendships matter. And not only that, but the fact, the fact that God cares about that. That He cares about your life, that He desires the right friendships for you, and these things matter. We need to take these things to God. A couple weeks ago, I had you guys write on those little circles, like who are your out circle friends, like just from school or from teams and stuff, who's your inner circle and who's your closest friends. And we talked about the influence that you have or they have in your life. And I said, Put a little plus or negative mark if it's a positive influence or a negative influence in your life, and be honest. And you guys did that, and a lot of you guys left them here afterwards. And so I got a chance just to walk around and kind of look at them. Now, I don't know whose they were because your names weren't on them, and there weren't any, like, it was just initials. So I don't know who they were, but I will say, out of about the 8 that I got a chance to look at, about 6 of them had far more negatives on it than positives. And so that means you guys were being honest about this and really thinking about what influence do my friends have and what influence do I have on my friends. And that's awesome. And again, I don't know who it was, because if you're like, oh no, I left it behind, he's going to call my mom or something. I don't know who it was or anything. But it was an eye-opener saying, hey, this is stuff that you guys are dealing with. And these are the influences. This stuff matters. And so we've been talking about like why friendships matter, how to be a better friend, how to be that friend to somebody else, and what do we need to be thinking about our friends. And tonight, we're kind of going a different direction with it. Tonight, we're going to be discussing about this idea of like, what if those friendships just aren't working out? What happens when friendships start to kind of change in our life and go different directions and start to separate? What do we do with those friendships there? So it's almost like how to unfriend is really our theme tonight, which sounds really bad, but it is something everybody deals with and struggles with. And so I want you guys to follow along. I think today we're looking at the scripture that I really like because it's such honest scripture about some very, very amazing and biblical guys, but really shows like their humanity behind it and how they dealt with some struggles in their friendships. And so I want you guys, please follow along. Tonight's also can almost overlap because we're talking about relationships. It almost overlaps with even like the idea of dating and relationships as well. Like, what do we do and how do we handle this well when maybe things just go 2 separate directions? And so follow along, guys. It's really, really good stuff. The scripture is really good, and it points to God, and we want you to be a part of it with us, okay? So before we go to worship, I'm going to bring up, do we have some amazing assistants here? Oh, all right. We're going to have Kristen and her amazing assistants come up with our concession stand. Remember, the concession stand is now open every Wednesday, so bring some change with you, and come on in if you want to buy some stuff. So I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah. What was today's Would You Rather? Oh, would you rather always be cold, or would you rather always be hot?
Cool.
So every week there will be a would you rather. It hangs on a sign right outside of the concession stand, and all you do is come up and put your name and the answer to the question, and then we draw one out each week, and you win a free concession. So the winner tonight is Gabby Meyer. Gabby Meyer, sorry. Okay. So you can come get something from the concession stand.
After service, right? Yeah, right after service, go get something from, yeah.
She won a special award.
So, hey, concession stand is open. Thank you. Give it up for our amazing little helpers over here as well. And you 2 guys get something free from the concession stand tonight as well, since you guys were amazing winners. And Bree and, who was your partner? Bree and Rachel. Hey, you guys get something free tonight too. Good job, everybody. So, hey, let's get up. Let's have some fun time worshiping tonight. Let's have a great night. Be thanking God for what he's done in our life. Let's also be praying for who we can reach out to this coming week for Exodus XL next week, and have our hearts and minds open for what God's word has to say about friendship, all right? So I'm going to leave it up to you, sir.
Yeah. Sing with me here. Else will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh, yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy in all my days. Oh, yes, I will. Sing that again. I count on one thing. The same God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy in all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names that nothing can stand against. And I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names nothing can stand against. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Oh yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy in all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Oh yes, I will for all my days. Yes, I will. I am holding on to faith, 'cause I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand, and I don't always get to see, but I will believe it, and I will believe it. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear, I will preach to my doubt, that you were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. I am standing on your word. I'm calling heaven down to earth. You will fight my enemies. This will end in victory. And I will believe it. Yes, I will believe it. 'Cause you make mountains move. You make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. And I will speak to my fear. Oh, I will teach my battle. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. Oh, you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. And I know you never fail. Yes, I know you never will. And shake prison walls, and I will speak to my fear. Oh, I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. You make mountains move, you make giants fall. You use songs of praise to shake prison walls. I will speak to my fear. Oh, I will preach to my doubt. You were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. Oh, you were faithful then, you'll be faithful now. Thank you, guys. You can go ahead and have a seat.
Ooh, all right, I need to know from you all, what is the dumbest thing you and a friend have fought over that, like, it caused, like, some real strife, and looking back, you're like, that was so stupid. Like, this, the dumbest thing you've ever actually got in a fight about. Yes. Huh? What you're gonna do? And you got in, like, a fight over it? Like, you're like, what do you want to do today? And they want to do something different, and then you're just like, I hate you. Like, not that extreme, but like a big argument over, yes, ma'am, what do you got? You fight about who's the backyard neighbor? So you're like, no, you're in my backyard. Okay. Wow, that's it's extreme. Meadow. You called her to what? Wow, did you get in trouble? Okay, all right. Then you said a Satanist. I was like, wow, it's so extreme, yeah. Lunch table seats, who's sitting where? You guys fought and argued over it? You went to the counselors? Over lunch table seats. All right, that's good stuff, yes, sir. Huh? You fought over a penny? Why? And you just fought like, you wanted the penny and they wanted the penny? And you just fought over it. Seriously? Wow, how old are you? If this was like this year, man, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Was that like recent? Like within the last year? Oh my goodness. Canaan, come on. All right, yes, ma'am. Yeah. You didn't talk to your friend because you fought over, not, well, don't say their names. We're on YouTube right now. Don't say it out loud. So they fought over what's better, pie or cake. All right, let's settle this debate right now. Who says pie is better than cake? Let's say a chocolate pie or a chocolate cake. We'll just make it. Who says pie is better? Who says chocolate cake is better? All right. There. Now you can tell them. It's settled. We never. You were right. You were right. Take chocolate cake all day long. They didn't talk for over a week because of it. If you say these things about cake, don't you talk bad about cake. Wow. I know. You like pie better? Okay, well, you're wrong, but we'll respect your opinion. Okay, so there's been some things. Some of you guys probably have some thoughts on like what's better. You probably argued over silly things and got fights. See, there's a difference between like arguing and debating stuff, but then like actual like this caused like a rift in the friendships. And sometimes some of those things you can look on them and like, that was so stupid. Like, why was I fighting about that? That was ridiculous. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to cough a little bit while we're doing this. I promise you I don't have COVID. I still am getting over a cough. I tested myself twice last week. We're all good. It's like we live in a world now where if you just like clear your throat, everybody's like, oh, hold up. Clear out of here. So I'm just letting you know I still have a little, still trying to clear up. But when we're looking at this idea of, friendships and what we fight over, I was like thinking, what's the dumbest thing I've ever fought with a friend over? And me and my brother fought over lots of stupid stuff, which, how many of you guys would say like you fought over dumber things with your brothers or sisters than you have your friends? All right, those count, okay? You can count your brothers and sisters as friends. You don't think of it right now that way, but I'm just telling you, like they're gonna be your people for your whole life. So they count as that. And so I've done a lot of stupid stuff like that, but I was thinking back and I completely forgot about like this happened until I was thinking about this thing. And the dumbest thing I've ever fought over with a friend was over an icicle. Like an icicle off of a gutter. And I don't know if girls do this. I don't even know if all guys do this. It might have just been me and my friends. But when you see like a huge icicle, not now, but like when you were a kid, didn't you want to get that icicle really badly? Like you're just like, that thing is, especially like the huge icicles hanging off of like, it's like starting to drip off a gutter and it just forms into a giant icicle. Everybody wanted that, right? Okay, good. I was like, I'm going to ask this, and if they just all stare at me, I'm just going to like feel like a loser right now. So we're all in agreement. So there was a giant icicle hanging off of this gutter, and it was at my house after, and I don't even know if we were in school or whatever. It was after school, but it was this huge icicle, like we're talking feet long. And we're like, oh, we need to get that icicle. And so me and my buddy, my best friend, we had known each other since we were like 3 years old. Always around each other. We were like, like brothers. And so we're trying to get this icicle down. And so we're throwing snowballs at it, trying to knock it down. And mine didn't, but he finally threw one and it knocked it down and it fell onto the snow. And we're like, yes. And so he goes and picks it up. And I was like, that's my icicle. He's like, what are you talking about? I knocked it down. I go, but it's mine. You got to give it to me because it's on my house, on my gutter. And so I wanted this icicle. And we were like so upset about it and so mad about it. And we're fighting like, who gets to have this huge icicle? Because it was like half the size of us. I was like, no, you have to give it to me. And he's like, I knocked it down with my snowball. Now, we weren't like teenagers. We were probably like 7 years old here, just to set the stage. It's not like, and then he drove home. It wasn't like we're not that old. But we were fighting, and then like we went, and I somehow, like boys fight, it always ends up in some sort of wrestling match. And so we were like somebody went, and we were trying to get the struggle, and we're struggling with it, and the icicle broke. And I was like, I hate you. And he's like, I hate you. I never want to be your friend again. He's like, you can't come to my birthday. How many of you guys have threatened birthday parties to a friend? All right, yeah, a lot of you are like, well, you're not coming to my birthday. It's like the next level step up. You all are shaking your head, so you know. How many of you have been disinvited to a birthday when you were little because you said something? Yeah. I don't know what it is about kids when we do that. Like, no, you're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're not coming to my birthday. His birthday was like in the summertime. And we're like, oh, fine. I won't care. And so I was like, you got to get out of my house, or get out of my yard. I never want to be friends with you again. Now, we were together all the time. Like, people thought we were brothers. And so this was like a big deal. And I come in, I'm like in tears. And I come in, I'm like kicking off my boots and my stuff. And my mom's like, what is happening? What's going on? Like, I heard you boys out there, yelling at each other. And, like at that point, I'm like ugly crying and like kids got snot, and you can't get them to calm down when they're a little kid. Like, David goes, and he took my icicle, and I hate him, and I never want him to come back again. He's not my friend anymore. My mom's like, what is happening? You guys are fighting over icicle? Yes, but it's my icicle, and I don't want to do it. And I hate him. And she's like, you hate him? Yes. You're like, over an icicle? It's a big icicle, Mom. You don't get it. And she's like, the icicle that's broken in the driveway, that's like melting right now? It's going to be a puddle in 30 minutes? Yes. I hate him. Dave's never going to be my best friend again. And my mom's like, well, that's dumb. And like, that's what she said to me as this little kid. I'm like, you don't understand, Mom. And it was so stupid. And obviously, it was dumb. And you know, like, because there's no one else, like, who else am I going to hang out with? So, like, the next day, I was like, hey, you want to be friends again? Okay. And it was fine. But I still remember coming into our little, you know, mudroom area and, like, flinging off my gloves and just crying over this. So dumb, like an icicle or cake and pie, or what are we going to do today? I don't know. And then fighting, you know, sometimes it can be those little things. And those can hurt friendships, but usually those aren't like friendship enders, all right? Now, uninviting to the birthday party, that's a serious thing. That's a big deal among little kids, but hopefully for us at this point, that's not. So today we're just looking at this idea of what happens. What happens when we get in these disagreements? What happens when we get in these arguments or fights? And not just like the dumb stuff, not the silly things that we can look back and laugh at. But what happens when friendships start to change? What happens when we see these friendships slowly like move away from one another? Now, we did this at the beginning of the series, and I said, hey, if you're a senior or junior, how many of you guys had a lot of friends like when you were in 7th or 8th grade that you no longer like even barely talk to? And a lot of our older students said, yeah, like that happened. And then we asked some of our freshmen, sophomores, hey, if you had friendships that were really solid when you were 6th and 7th graders, and how many of you guys had, like, you're no longer that good of friends with them? And we had a bunch of people raise their hand. The thing is with friendships, there's seasons of change in friendships, and that's going to be okay. And today was kind of like, what do we do when we have those change in friendships? See, sometimes it's not like a huge thing or a fight. Sometimes it's just a matter of like they moved and went to a different school. Like they used to go to this school, now they go to this school. And so our friendships kind of change. And when you get to high school, if your schedules aren't the same, you don't see that person as much. And now maybe, like you guys used to hang out all the time, but they're a part of this team now. And now you're a part of this team. And, you know, you're hanging around the people on your team. You hang around your teammates more, or your dance, or your band people, or whatever. And you're kind of with them. And you kind of, your friendships kind of slowly like fade. And you don't like hate each other, but it just changes. And that can happen. And that's a normal part of high school and what goes on. And we don't have to like treat it as a negative thing. And some of you older students, you saw how that's kind of naturally take place. And sometimes it can be rough stuff. Sometimes there may be friendships that things take place in our lives that you wish hadn't. Maybe you said something you wish you hadn't done, or that friend did something they hadn't done, and maybe there was some gossip or some drama that was constantly taking place, and you just found yourself kind of getting torn away from that junk. You found maybe you were put in a hurtful situation, and just the friendship started changing, and you're like, I don't want to do this. Or maybe it was just you saw a friend go in a different direction in life that you didn't want to go, and you didn't know what to do with that. And so what do we do in those situations? Because it will happen to each and every one of you in this room. If it hasn't already happened, you will have moments in time where you will see friendships change, and so we got to figure out what to do with that. The last time we met, we talked about influence. And hey, if there's negative influences, what do we do when we know there's friends in our life that might not be the best influence in our life? Well, what do we do with them? Do we just walk up to them and be like, hey, at church, I decided you're a negative, so I can't hang out with you anymore. Bye. And like, that's not, how do we handle those in the best possible situation? And this is what we're going to look at. And so just like I said earlier, a lot of the stuff we're looking at can pour into all relations, okay? This can go into your friendships, and this also, because dating is a relationship, some of the stuff we're going to learn at can also be, you know, how do we handle this in a dating relationship as well? Because that's a friend, it's someone that you spend time with, and it's something personal. How do we make sure it's not just a giant mess? And so this is kind of what I want us to look at. Now, we're going to look at 3 guys here. I've spoke about these guys before, and I think it's an awesome story. We're going to be looking at Paul, who was this great missionary. Paul was a guy that hated anything about Christians at first, had this amazing encounter with Christ, and became this missionary, going around all these areas, planting churches, starting churches, like getting people, like people were following after Christ, and he would help them start these churches, and he would just travel from land to land helping this start. So he'd stay in one place for maybe 8 or 9 months to 3 years and start a church and then go somewhere else and do the same thing before he returned home. And he had a friend named Barnabas. And Barnabas was with him in a lot of these travels as well. So Barnabas was this amazing guy. His name meant the encourager. And so he was just this solid dude. And so Barnabas and Paul had this really good friendship. They had been traveling all around the country, like doing very difficult work, sharing Christ with people and starting churches. And so you have this relationship with them, and you have this guy named Mark. And Mark, if it sounds familiar, like Mark sounds familiar in the Bible, it's the same guy that wrote Mark. Simple enough, right? You got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, those first few Bibles of the New Testament. This is the same Mark. And they have a very real and honest thing recorded, this relationship, this friendship, and some stuff and some junk that happens in here, and it's recorded in the Bible here. And so in Acts chapter 15, I don't know if it's on there or not. Acts chapter 15, if it's not on the screens, you can follow along with me. But it says, sometime later, Paul said to Barnabas, so they've done a bunch of mission trips, and they're kind of back in their home, and they're talking about what they're going to do next. Oh, thank you. It says, sometime later, Paul said to Barnabas, let's go and visit the believers in all the towns where we preach the word of the Lord and see how they're doing. So they want to go back. We've done this trip. Let's go back now and see how everybody is. Let's check out how they're doing. And Barnabas wanted to take John, who's also called Mark, with them. But Paul did not want it, and he didn't think it was wise to take him because he had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in the work. So you got these friends, right? You got Paul sitting on one side, and then you got Barnabas over here, and then I don't know if it was all in the same room, but you got I think Mark was somewhere around, and so I don't know if Mark was standing there awkwardly, but what they're saying is, hey, let's go travel around the area. Let's see how people are doing. Let's encourage these churches. Keep it going and see what's going on. And Barnabas is like, that's an awesome idea, Paul, and let's take Mark. And Paul's like, not so fast. Last time Mark went with us, he burnt out on us. Something happened because Paul said he deserted us. Something got hard, something got tough, something got difficult, and Mark was like, this is too much for me. And he left halfway through a journey. And so Mark deserted him. And so Paul's just saying, hey, I don't want Mark to go with us. He can't be trusted. He might not be doing what we need him to do, and then he's just going to split out on us again. Let's just go without him. And so they have this little disagreement. And so sometimes when you look at people in the Bible, you're like, okay, well, all the people in the Bible are perfect, and they got it all together. This was a guy that wrote one of the books of the Bible, who wrote the book of Mark. And here he is, Paul didn't even want to travel with the dude. And so we see very, just the realness and the humanity of these people. And so it's really important to remember they weren't perfect. They had some stuff going on. And so what happens here is, it goes on, he says, they had such a sharp disagreement that they parted company. So they argued about this. They argued about who's going to take Mark, and I want to take Mark, and Paul's like, I'm not going on a mission trip. It says they had a sharp disagreement, and they decided to split. Barnabas took Mark and sailed for Cyprus, but Paul chose Silas and left. Commended by the believers of the grace of the Lord, then it just says they went, okay? So they split ways. And I love the thought here, and I don't know, again, if it's looked like this, but all of a sudden you got this guy named Silas there. I don't know if Silas was in the room the whole time, just standing there while they're arguing. And imagine if they were in the same room and Mark is still sitting there. And Paul and Barnabas, imagine you're with two friends, all right? They're with two people. So you got Quentin and Luke are over here talking hey, we should, take this trip and go visit these churches. And then you got Caden over here. And Quentin's like, yeah, we should do that, but not with Caden, all right? And Caden's just sitting there oh no, is it because I left you guys? Yeah, it's because you left us. And they're just standing there. And then, Lily's just standing over here to the side. So Lily would just be like Silas. I don't know if Silas was just standing there the entire time, oh, so I'm good to go? Yeah, we're not arguing about you, Silas. Okay, sorry, Mark. If he's just sitting there, if they were debating whether another guy should go and you're just sitting there and on the sideline, so Mark, what's going on, man? Mark and Silas are just talking back and forth to each other while these guys argue. I don't know if it was an awkward situation or not, but we know they were like arguing, and it was a sharp disagreement. These godly men had this sharp disagreement over what to do, and they started fighting about it, and they went their separate ways. And so, again, I love this story because it shows the realness of these men. It shows that they argued with their friends the same way you guys argue with your friends. It shows that there was this opportunity for Mark to grow, but Paul was like, no, I'm not doing it with them. We know that Mark went on and matured in his faith. We know that he grew in his faith. He went on with Barnabas and went on this amazing journey with Barnabas and had this awesome time. We know that Mark would eventually write the book of Mark. We know there's some great things taking place here. And we know that Silas, went off with Paul. What I want you to look at here tonight, just for a few minutes, is what they didn't do. What they didn't do in this situation. And this is going to be key. And this is what I want you to really think about. What they didn't do is start pulling in everybody else. They didn't start saying, hey, I'm right, and then go to their other friends and go, hey, you know what? Paul doesn't want to take Mark. What do you guys think? We see this happen a lot, right? Where you see friends fighting, and what do? They want you to be on their side, or if you're in an argument, you want people to be on your side, and we joke about like pie and cake, and who likes this more? But when it comes to real situations, we see it all the time in your schools. Who's on my side? You're not still going to talk to them, are you? Because they did this, and you should be on my side with it. And they didn't start going to all these other people and trying to create their teams over who's right. Is Paul right or is Barnabas right? They didn't draw in other friends into their fight. And this happens all the time. You've probably been in a situation where you've had friends gossiping or talking about other friends and tried to pull you into it. And so we know that that's not what they did. We know they didn't drag everybody into it. They didn't have the option to, but I also know they didn't just go straight to social media about it and put people on blast over a friendship and then end up regretting things all the time. Now, I don't follow you all on social media. I kind of have a rule where I don't accept requests from any students either, unless it's like the church Instagram or, don't use Facebook anyway, but, any of these. But I do see even people my age constantly doing this. People my age constantly, like, in a roundabout way, like, you try to do something nice for people, and then they just stab you in the back. You know who you are. And then, there's, 40 comments of, what happened? What's going on? Who was it? And, and then you started, trashing each other. And that's, adults alone, start doing that. We know that this takes place. But we see what they didn't do. They didn't start rallying up other people against each other, and they didn't just start posting it and putting it out there for everybody else to deal with. And so, what we do see them do, though, we do see them say, hey, maybe we just need to go separate ways. And this is something I want us to think about. This is one of the hardest things when it comes to your friendships. But we have to be honest about these things. And so, what we see them do is say, hey, we need to walk away friendly. And sometimes, students, that's just going to be what it needs to be. Sometimes there is going to be situations in your life or friendships in your life or people in your life where maybe you put some of those negative influence check marks in your friends and you're looking at that going, man, some of those negative checks are some of my closest friends. But if I really am honest with my life, that's a negative. Some of these are people that I've been really close to. Some of it might have been a dating relationship, and you're thinking, that's a negative mark. What do I do with that, though? We don't have to stir it up and cause a huge fight. We don't have to be difficult. We don't have to put people on blast. What we can learn from them is I can walk away friendly. I can say, you know what? This is just an area in my life, and we need to start kind of creating some space here. We need to start creating some boundaries in our life to say this is where we are at. And that may mean with your friends. That same buddy that fought over the icicle, and we were so close. And other friends that I had in my life that I realized this isn't healthy for me as we got older into high school. Some of those friends that I saw that I wanted to hang out with, and I wanted to be with them on Friday nights, and I wanted to do the stuff on Saturday nights, and I saw what they're doing, but I also know that's not the direction I think God's calling me to go. And I don't want to miss out and be like, oh, well, he's the church kid. But I also know that's not what I need to do, so what do I do? And sometimes it meant just stepping away and saying that's not the direction I'm going to go. I didn't have to blast people. I didn't have to make fun of them. I didn't have to, trash them and be like, well, they're doing this and I'm so much better. It just meant I might need to take a different step in life. And sometimes that may mean missing out on some things. And I know some of you guys have made that sacrifice, and for some people, we just need to hear that. It's okay. It's okay to just walk away and let that friendship either develop normal, or sometimes it's okay to say we're going to have to just part here. Paul and Barnabas did it, and they were super close friends, but they allowed that because the second thing, if we are going to walk away friendly, then the second thing we notice what they did is they put their focus on Christ. See, Paul was able to say, we're going to go our separate ways, not because he was like, because I'm right and Mark is a rat. He didn't do that. He said, I'm going to go my separate ways, and I will go over here and continue to spread who God is to these people. And Barnabas said, that's fine. You take Silas. I'm going to go this way. They were able to put their focus back on Christ. So when we do that within our dating relationships, within our friendships, and say, this may need to be where I go, but my focus has to be on Christ on how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do it in a healthy manner. I'm going to do it with the right headspace. I'm not going to do it out of anger. I'm not going to do it because I think I'm better. But I'm going to do it because I know, hey, this is probably I'm bringing this stuff to God. This is the direction I feel like God's pulling me. But I'm not going to do it and be a jerk about it. I'm not going to trash that person. I'm not going to do this. It just is probably where God is directing me. And I have a God that cares about my relationships, cares about me and my friendships, cares about these things. And so I'm going to put my focus on him. And students, that to me is one of the coolest things. See, we don't have to just say, well, this happened and I hate that person now I'm walking away. Or they were jerks and they do this and now I'm walking away. Or, well, it's because, and I don't like when people are like, well, it's because I'm a Christian and you're not a Christian, so now we can't be friends. None of that. It just means, man, there's some separation that probably needs to happen here, and my focus is going to be on Christ. And I'm going to trust in him through this friendship, and I'm going to trust in him to bring other friends into my life and to have the right people with me with where I'm at in life. And so I think when we take those two things and we look at our friendships, we already talked about how we can be better friends, how we can love on people, serve our friends, be there for our friends, how we talked about, bringing our friends to Christ, praying for our friends, praying that we can be that type of friend. We've already looked at all that. Last week we talked about, or 2 weeks ago, talked about being that positive influence on our friends. How can we be that light in someone else's life? And if it is a negative influence, well, how can we change that? How can we make sure we're making a bigger influence in their life? But if there's situations where there's just no way around it, or friendships change, or something hurtful has happened, what can we do with that? We can still walk away with honor and respect and keep it nice and be kind about it, and then put our focus back on Christ. Don't worry about so much of what I'm missing out on, but look at what does God have for me? Because whenever we do that, whenever we give these things to God, he's got something for you. And so don't overlook this amazing example of these guys' life and how it can apply to our life. And so I don't know for you what that means. I don't know if you're dealing with that right now. If you're not, I promise you there will be a time where you will. There is going to be a friendship or a dating relationship or something where you're going to have this opportunity to say, all right, is this the best for me? Is this the right thing for me? Is this healthy for me? And what happens when we get done with it? If it is changing, can I do this in a healthy way that is honoring to me and honoring to God? And that's the example I think we see in these guys' life. And I think it's a really cool thing that we have. Like Scripture shows, this is what these guys did. You can handle these friendships correctly. So I'm going to pray for you. Hey, if you are dealing with anything like this, please know we have leaders here that are like, just come talk to them. Ask them about it. Ask them like, hey, can you pray for me for this? I'm dealing with this right now. It's easier to talk about than to actually go through it, because going through it takes some time. But when we put our focus on God, I promise you, it's worth it. He's got something there for you. All right, let's pray. God, I thank you. I thank you for example that you've given us in Scripture. God, we can look sometimes at the Bible and say it's old and it doesn't have anything in there for me. But this story is such a great example that here's some friends and they're not perfect. And what do we learn from it? How can we see how their disagreements and how they handled things, how that applies to our life? And so we see that your word does go straight into our life, that we can use it as an example for us. And so I pray for any of these students here today that maybe they're walking through tough situations within their friends. Maybe they're trying to look and say, maybe there's some choices I need to make with these friends. Maybe it's not a great influence, or maybe things are just growing apart. I don't have to handle it in a negative way. I can do it in a kind way. I can do it in the right way, and our focus can continue to be on you, God. When we do that, it's going to be so much easier than getting pulled into all the drama and all the other junk if we choose to make it nasty. And so I pray, God, that these students will take this stuff to you, take it to heart, and bring their friendships, bring these things to you through prayer, Lord. Amen. All right, hey, I'm going to have one of our students just give you guys a quick challenge before next week, because we have 7 days to make this happen. 2 of you. Go ahead.
Hey guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a really fun night. Next week is XSXL, so it's going to be even bigger, even more fun. It's a perfect opportunity to invite all of your guys' friends, so I'm going to be doing the same. I'm going to be reaching out to people and asking them to come with me, so do that. And it's also Western night, so wear all your Western apparel next week.
Okay, yeah, so for the Western theme, we are going to have a mechanical bull over here. It'll be really fun. If you guys went to Fight Night last year, it'll be that same type of idea. And then Chick-fil-A will be provided for dinner. Make sure you are decked out in your Western clothes. If you went to the South game last Friday, re-wear your Western outfit here. I know that's what I'm doing. Wear your hat, wear your flannel, wear your boots, and make sure you invite your friends because it's going to be a lot of fun and you don't want to miss it. Okay, thank you guys for coming tonight, and stack your chairs, maybe? Okay.